Say, folks, are you familiar with the TV show Fashion Police? Here's a clip featuring top fashion cop, the late, great Joan Rivers, in all her vicious glory.
Jessica Alba, Valentino Haute Couture.
Okay, now she's in one of those short front January Jones long dress. They look like ass capes. I don't understand it. Am I wrong? She looks like an Atlantic City hooker who got a sewing machine for one of her Johns and no lessons. I mean, am I wrong?
Hey, Fashion Police is played for laughs, and Fashion Police aren't real police, of course. It's not like they have the power of the state behind them to lay charges. It's just a TV show. But have you heard the latest? Apparently, Ontario is getting its own version of the Fashion Police. They will be stationed out of that kangaroo court known as the Ontario Human Rights Commission. You see, the commission is now calling for an end to sexualized dress codes that discriminate against female and transgender employees. First of all, transgender? Gracious, I had no idea that that sexy Hooters girl I have a crush on might actually be a she-male. Yikes! Does anyone have an Alka-Seltzer? But I digress. Anyway, Ontario Human Rights Chief Commissioner Renu Mandhane, who nobody wants to see sporting a pair of orange short shorts, said the following while releasing the commission's policy position on gender-specific dress codes. Quote, employers must make sure their dress codes don't reinforce sexist stereotypes. They send the message that an employee's worth is tied to how they look. That's not right, and it could violate the Ontario Human Rights Code, end quote. Ooh, that sounds serious. Alas, once again, the Human Rights Commission shows how it's starving for bullies to discipline. After all, when it comes to those employers who unfairly discriminate against people for truly odious reasons, such as race, skin color, sex, religion, or nationality, well, those battles have been pretty much fought and won. So now the Human Rights Commission is on a fishing expedition seeking out new oppressors and new victims. But risque restaurant attire isn't a problem because it's something that's already being indirectly policed by the free market economy. Look, if a consumer feels that a Tilted Kilt franchise is a bastion of sexism, he or she can send a statement by patronizing another restaurant. It's called voting with one's wallet. And surely the women applying for employment at such T&A establishments know the ground rules. Look, if you don't want to show cleavage, then maybe a career at Hooters isn't for you. And consider this, perhaps those women who are taking waitressing jobs that require revealing uniforms are doing so because the tips are better. Again, free market economy at work. Of course, human rights czarina Renu Mandhane would probably imply that women who are happy to work at Hooters or the Tilted Kilt are just too dumb to know that they're being sexually exploited. So go ahead and file those complaints, ladies. Got to keep that human rights juggernaut rolling. Bureaucrats have to eat, you know. By the way, hasn't the Ontario Human Rights Commission opened up the huge can of worms here? For example, what if an exotic dancer should file a complaint? After all, her work uniform at the strip club is, well, it's her birthday suit. How do you rule on that one? And you know, if I ever do win Lotto Max FU money, I'd love to put this farcical human rights dress code to a test. Specifically, I'd open a restaurant in which all wait staff would be required to wear burqas. Hey, I've even got a name for the joint, Burqa Burger. Now, do you think for a second that the humorless human rights harpies would ever take on a discriminatory uniform complaint if the clothing in question was tied to Islam? You want fries with that, folks? For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.